Whenever you think about faith, you have to think substance. How many of you have things right now which God has said to you, but you have never dared to start walking them? And every year you have an excuse as to why you should not walk in them. If you're writing the resolve of faith, Romans chapter 4, the Bible says from verse 17, it says, as it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before whom he believed, even God who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those things which be not as though they were. Faith is basically like the anchor of salvation. That's why you see, if when you go to do something and it's your only way, you have gone to get a job and they have said no, and it was your only hope, there is a way in which you are crushed. Because in that instance, it was your only hope. But when you have faith, even as they say that, your spirit cannot receive it. Because you are certain of the supply of God. Think like what you are believing. Walk like what you are believing. There's a measure of faith given to you to do what you know. When you have faith, you have to use your proportion, your level, that part which God has given you. When we are believing God, we must not believe God because things are changing. We must believe God because faith is a substance. Every day, you must look at something that's dead and tell it you are alive. You see it's dead and tell it you are alive. You see it is so dead and you tell it you are alive. When they are faced with a situation that is hard, instead of continuing saying what they were saying, instead they hibernate, thinking that by freezing, perhaps or peradventure things will change. Faith does not go quiet. When you find someone who has the substance of faith, if they tell you I'm number one, even when they are the last, they will say I'm number one. Because it's not about where he's standing, it's about what he is seeing, the substance of things hoped for. If you believe God that you are not poor, you are rich, will you ever say I'm broke? Even when you're going to say it, you feel it's so hard. You may be broke at that particular point, but it is so hard for you to accept it. Because you know that's not who you are. They say, I'm going to do great things. We are big. We are going to do great things. We have moved. They say, we have moved. Bigger every day. Bigger every day. And as they're saying they're bigger, even when they are dancing, they remember, but you're not big. You are not big. Someone will see a couple which slaps itself. I says, at least good. Even if they were slapping, but I said, at least I'll be married. At least I will be married. I would rather they slap me, but at least I am married. When you start getting to that level of desperation, you know you no longer have faith. When you have faith, your eyes can see that you will be in the will of God and your eyes will be lifted above it. The will of God is not just a will. It has a mystery that governs it. So you could stand in the will of God, and by the mystery of the will of God, you discover something. That this was a starter. You are in the will of God, which is a starter. Most of you, the things which God has ordained as your will of God in this life are not even the extent of what you are even called for. You can never make anything happen in the realm of faith if you don't have the substance. Even the answers from God are looking for that substance in you. You know how you sit in your house and you hear your president giving a speech and you say, now you see the problem with this president. If you could say this and say it like this and turn it like this. You see your problem. In your house, where you have even failed to pay the rent, you think you are wiser than a man who is presiding over a whole nation. Some of you have gotten bored of relationships of just 2 years. For the past 8 years, every 2 years you get bored of someone. And this man, above all things, he still comes every single time to stand. Why? He's never gotten bored of his job. There's something he knows you don't. You may think about it as a dictator. Don't worry. Whatever you're thinking, no problem. But the issue is, you don't realize substance. You don't know how to study substance. Some people today, you ask them, what are you believing God for? Money. What should I pray for you? Money. Okay, besides the money, what would you want God to do for money? You plan to date a wonderful guy, a wonderful Christian brother, a wonderful Christian girl. But the people you're surrounded with have been in 100 breakups and you're in the same ministry, and they're your friends. They say, I broke up with that one, I broke up with that one. They have a list of breakups. Already your faith towards that thing is already being wrecked. Keep your standard. All those standards which you have in your heart were set by God. Yeah, if you had a standard for a big house, keep it. Don't worry about the economy. The economy will take care of itself. Even if you're staying in a small place, if you are seeing a mansion, walk in it like you are seeing a mansion. Feel like a mansion. It's not about on that day when you will come and say, now I'm believing God for my great life. No, it's not about what you will say on that day. It is what were you saying with your life. You start to see someone is bringing fear in their heart. They're introducing fear in their heart. They start to fear to say they are big. They start to fear to say they are going far. They start to fear to start a thing. They are fearing. They start to fear. And that fear grows and they begin to be fearful. As 2 years pass by, they are ministers of fear itself. If you get around them, you become fearful. Someone starts being skeptical, too skeptical of everything. Everything they say, oh, why? You don't go in. Yet the Bible doesn't say you don't go in. The Bible says you cannot have your leg here and another leg there. It says you must go whole. That's how I believe. That's how I see. No impossibility. There's nothing impossible. What are you seeing? When you say, that's what I'm talking about. This substance which we have to say, I'm the next. To say I'm taking over. That substance to mean what you are saying is built by where you're coming from. What you're going to take over, that thing, that area in which you're going to take over. The substance which you're going to have, you are building it now. That's why I'm teaching you how to have a resolve of faith. To decide and say, as for me from today, yes, I've missed it before. But from today, if I say I'll do something, I know I'm going to do it. Because God has already permitted you to do it. God is already seeing you to be so. So you don't look at yourself and limit yourself. As you are living this thing, what you are going to do, what you're going to walk in, that is your faith. What you are doing, that is your faith. What you are thinking, that is your faith. What you are speaking, that is your faith. What you are worried about, that is your faith. What you are going to worry about, what you're going to believe God for, that is your faith. And until that substance is defined, we cannot talk about the faith.